Think about the last time you saw a crow. It was probably perched on a wire, tearing at trash, or staring directly at you from a fence post, with that particular stillness that makes you feel like you've done something wrong. Now, try to remember the last time you saw a crow sleeping. Take your time. You haven't. Not once. Not even accidentally. We see them by the millions in broad daylight, on rooftops, on roads, in parking lots, always watching, always present. But when the sun goes down, crows seemingly vanish from the face of the earth. It's an everyday glitch hidden in plain sight. And the reason why they hide their sleep is genuinely disturbing. Not interesting, not surprising, disturbing, in the way that once you understand it, you will look at every crow you ever see again and feel something you didn't feel before. Scientists have cataloged at least 58 physiologically disturbing animal behaviors, things that shatter your model of how life is supposed to work. Most get explained away. This one hasn't. There are 36 documented crow behaviors that ornithologists cannot fully account for. 36! But only one of them should keep you up at night. And if you're the kind of person who wants to understand the hidden mechanics of the natural world, things that don't make the textbooks, you're exactly who this channel is for. Hit subscribe to GlitchWild, because this is just the beginning. So, where do 100,000 crows disappear to every single night? And what are they doing while you're unconscious? Before we go there, we need to establish what we're actually dealing with. Crows are not birds in the way we lazily imagine birds. In 2011, researchers at the University of Washington ran a landmark study. They wore caveman masks while trapping crows on campus, then released them unharmed. For the next 5 years, those same crows dive-bombed anyone wearing that specific mask. They taught their offspring to hate a face they had never personally seen. Not a species, a face. In 2002, Oxford researchers documented a crow named Betty spontaneously bending a straight wire into a hook to retrieve food, a behavior previously considered exclusive to great apes. She did it without training, without observation. She simply reasoned her way to a solution. Their encephalization quotient, the ratio of brain mass to body mass, sits at 2.49, comparable to a chimpanzee at 2.48, and far above a dog at 1.17. In practical terms, a crow processes the world with cognitive machinery roughly equivalent to a 7-year-old human child. They use traffic patterns as tools. They hold grudges across decades. They attend the funerals of their dead. And here is where it gets uncomfortable. That intelligence, the very thing that makes them extraordinary, may be the biological source of their curse. Because the smarter the animal, the more neural processing is required during unconsciousness, the more social threats to model, the more status to lose while unaware. For a crow, deep sleep isn't rest. It is the most dangerous thing it can do. But if sleep is so dangerous, where are they hiding while they try to do it? And why have no cameras ever caught it? So where do they go? Day breaks and they're everywhere. Your fence, your telephone line, the top of your building, watching you leave for work with the specific, unnerving patience of something that does not need to hurry. Then night falls, and they vanish. Not into sleep exactly, into something else. Scientists call them Mega-Roosts. Crows do not sleep in pairs or small flocks. They aggregate in numbers that should not be possible in a single stand of trees into what researchers have started calling hidden cities. The largest documented crow mega-roost in North America was recorded in Auburn, New York in 2012, an estimated 65,000 birds concentrated into a 6-block urban radius. Other roosts in Lancaster, Pennsylvania have been logged at over 100,000 individuals. All of them descending into the same coordinates every night, responding to a signal we cannot hear. Researchers have spent careers trying to map these roosts, tracking birds, setting up camera arrays. What they find consistently is this: the roosts shift location, they change configuration, they behave as though aware of surveillance, relocating when observed too closely, too often. One ornithologist described it in a 2019 field report as a city that doesn't want to be found. By the way, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to GlitchWild yet, now is the moment. Because what comes next, the biological reason crows can't fully sleep, is the part most people never hear. And we have a lot more where this came from. What happens inside that hidden city? Even if we found the roost, even if we could watch, what we'd see would be far stranger than sleeping birds, because biologically, a crow cannot sleep the way you do. Here is the biological reality. Crows and most birds practice a sleep state called Unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, or USWS. One hemisphere of the brain enters slow-wave sleep. The other hemisphere remains in fully conscious threat processing state. One eye closes, the other stays open. And it is not simply open, it is actively scanning. Think of it as a computer that is physically incapable of executing a full shutdown command. It can throttle its processing load, it can enter low power mode, but approximately 50% of its cognitive architecture remains online at all times, running threat assessment, logging movement, maintaining spatial awareness. This isn't a feature, it is a compromise evolution made. The deep sleep state you enter every night, rapid eye movement sleep, during which the human brain consolidates memory and performs cellular repair, is something a crow may never fully access. Studies from the Max Planck Institute for Ornithology have documented that birds denied even USWS for 72 hours show measurable cognitive degradation, slower reaction times, reduced problem-solving accuracy, impaired social recognition. A crow is not resting, it is managing its own cognitive decline indefinitely through the least bad biological option available. The half-brain that sleeps dreams something, researchers believe, though what a crow dreams, no instrument can measure. The other half-brain that stays awake watches. But here's the question that the biology alone cannot answer. With one eye always open across 100,000 birds, what exactly are all those eyes watching? Because it turns out, not all of them are pointed at the tree line. Inside every mega-roost is a subset of crows that do not sleep at all. Not the half-sleep of USWS, not one eye open, both eyes fully awake, positioned throughout the canopy in what field researchers have documented as non-overlapping surveillance arcs, each bird's field of view covering the blind spot of the bird beside it. Ornithologists call them sentinels. The initial assumption was straightforward. Sentinels watch the perimeter, owls, foxes, anything that hunts at night. But a 2017 study published in Animal Behavior complicated that model significantly. When researchers tracked the directional gaze of sentinel crows using high-resolution infrared cameras, they found that roughly 47% of sentinel attention was directed inward, toward the interior of the roost itself, not the tree line, the other crows. Which raises a question that no research paper will state directly, but that the data implies with uncomfortable clarity. In a city of 100,000 birds, what are they afraid each other might do while some of them sleep? Crows don't just fear predators from outside, they fear each other. And that fear has built a social system more paranoid than anything we've documented in mammals. Here is the disturbing reason. The reason you never see a crow sleep is not primarily about predators from outside. It is about each other. Crow society operates on what biologists call a linear dominance hierarchy, a strict ranking system that determines access to food, mates, warmth, and the safest positions within the roost. The center of a mega-roost is up to 4 degrees Celsius warmer than the perimeter. That warmth is the difference between thriving and barely surviving a winter night. And that hierarchy is not fixed. Researchers studying long-term roost dynamics have documented what the field now calls passive rank displacement. While lower-ranking crows drift into their already compromised half-sleep, higher-ranking birds and birds angling to become higher-ranking move. They reposition, they occupy, they claim. A crow that sleeps too deeply wakes up lower in its social order than it was when it closed one eye. It may wake up without a mate. In some documented cases, it does not wake up at all. This is what 66 documented crow danger behaviors ultimately trace back to. Not their beaks, not their numerical dominance in urban environments, not their memory for human faces. It is this. Crows have built a civilization that punishes rest. They are more afraid of each other than they are of anything hunting them from the outside. And once you understand that, once you sit with what it means to be trapped in a social structure where unconsciousness is a liability, you will never look at a crow the same way again. Tonight, when you close your eyes, know that somewhere nearby there is a crow that will not. It will be in a tree, or on a wire, or on the roof of the building nearest to you. Its half-brain will be cycling through threat models. Its one open eye will be parsing the dark in a 270-degree monocular field. It is not resting. It is calculating whether it is safe to rest. It has been calculating this without resolution for the approximately 45 million years its lineage has existed on this planet. And somewhere in that calculation, in the gap between the sleep it needs and the sleep it cannot take, something happened to crow cognition that we do not yet have the instruments to measure. They became something that watches, something that remembers, something that waits. You evolved to trust the world enough to leave it for 8 hours every night. The crow never made that trade. Ask yourself before you sleep tonight which of you was right. And then, if you can, try. If this video cracked something open for you, that feeling that the world is stranger and more layered than it looks, that's exactly what GlitchWild is built for. Every week we find the thing hiding in plain sight, the glitch in the animal kingdom, the fact that was always true but nobody said out loud. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and come back next time, because we already know what we're covering next, and you're going to want to be here for it.